It was February 2021, and looking for a break from the day-to-day life in Tokyo, we chose to visit the island of Oshima. About $50 and 2 hours away from central Tokyo on the high-speed ferry, we booked our tickets, jumped aboard, and headed out for the island. The ferry journey itself was relaxing, and we got some great views as we went out across Tokyo Bay to the island of Oshima. As you can see, the weather was on our side, and even though it was cool, it was sunny for the entire time we were there, and we're very grateful for that. As soon as we got off the ferry, there was a car rental place where for only $20 a day we were able to rent a little K car which was able to get us all around the island wherever we wanted to go. The first place we decided to go was straight to the top of the volcano, which essentially makes the island, and we drove up to the car park and then went for a big hike around the crater of the volcano itself. What is amazing is with it being a small island and the volcano being relatively big, the views were absolutely incredible. Able to see over to different islands in the same region and over to the mainland where we could see Fuji-san as well. The hike took us about 2.5 hours from the car park to walk to the crater, around the edge of the crater on this very well preserved footpath, and then back to the car. A few other people were taking part as well. It's suitable for any reasonable ability. I would suggest, however, closed-toed shoes because the whole path is quite rocky. Here, as you can see, you get a great view into the volcano itself, and you can actually see where the eruptions would have taken place. The last major eruption here was in the 80s, however small eruptions do take place, so it is worth bearing in mind that you might need to run out of there very quickly. In one famous Godzilla film, this is where Godzilla was actually chased and he was shot into the crater, and he's actually buried inside this crater, and the whole island actually has a Godzilla theme running, and they use this as a talking point. Basically, this is the island of Godzilla, and you'll see more references to that later in the video. After the hike, we went down into town where we sampled some local sushi, which was absolutely fantastic. It's worth bearing in mind that if you do visit in February, not everywhere is open and you are limited to your choices of places to eat. We weren't disappointed by the sushi, it was delicious, but it wasn't very cheap. For the two of us and simple drinks, it was about $50. The next morning, I woke up early. I wanted to go for a walk. Mayumi wanted to sleep. It's more or less how we work. I'm always up early. So I went for a long walk to meet this handsome beast Godzilla and take some photos. It's a very easy island to walk around as Oshima, and even though you can't circumnavigate the whole thing in one day, there are little footpaths you can take, and it's very easy to just go for a wander and find something new wherever you go. Once Mayumi was awake, we wandered down to the local bicycle rental shop, which is very close to the ferry port and where we were staying. Mayumi rented an electrically assisted bicycle, and I chose to go for a typical road bike. Our plan was to ride around the whole island, which would take us all day, and distance-wise was about 40 kilometers. The first stop, of course, was ice cream. And on the island there is a dairy where they milk and make their own ice cream, and it was fantastic, really good, and a great place to stop if you are heading out and about on Oshima on bicycles. Hello. No, sure. Cycling in Japan traditionally takes place on the road. You're only legally allowed to cycle on the footpath if you're either a child, carrying a child, or over the age of 70, none of which is either myself or Mayumi. However, it is socially acceptable to ride on the pavement on the footpath, particularly if it's quiet, as it was on the day we were there. Normally we were half on the road, half on the footpath, depending on what the circumstances were. This is a local beauty spot. Stop to check it out. And there are palm trees everywhere on this island. Makes it feel like a world away from the city we left behind only 24 hours before.
Power squash for when you need to ride a bicycle around an island. Oshima.
I'm pretty fit, but this bit was difficult. This was a more or less 90-minute continuous uphill, rising about 600 meters. I wasn't expecting such a large uphill on such a small island. However, the road, rather than going around the edge of the island, actually goes over the volcano.
How you doing? That's Tokyo, Miami.
With the sun setting,
No,
it was
Tokyo,
time to head back. But on the way was a point of interest. A cliff that looks like Baumkuchen. Miami loves Baumkuchen, so this was obviously a very cool place for her to visit, and it's famous with tourists coming to check out the island. We were coming back into Oshima, the little village where we were staying, and we were hungry. The restaurant that we wanted to visit was closed and we didn't want sushi again, and we were beginning to wonder if we'd actually eat tonight. However, we went to an izakaya, which didn't really look open, but we popped our head in, went inside, and we got served the most delicious meal. We got taken care of by the owners, and it was great. The next morning, we were getting ready to leave Oshima and head towards Yokohama. Mayumi wanted to read her book, but I felt like an adventure, so I rented a scooter. Having experience on a scooter, I was quite excited to get back onto two wheels, this time with an engine rather than using my legs, and I've got to be honest, it was amazing fun. Welcome to the most northerly point of Oshima. Certainly the most northerly point that you can drive to. Anyway, over there is Oshima Lighthouse. You can see just there. That's the island spreading out behind. The airport is in quite clear view just down here as well, which is quite cool. We've only seen one helicopter take off from there during the whole time we've been here. I don't think it's a busy airport, but it's yes, it adds a bit of convenience for those that live here. I just drove up this dirt track in order to get here. Tiny little road. I don't think you're supposed to ride 50cc mopeds up it, but it's a rental, so it's not mine. Maybe I could take it up here. What do you think, people? No, absolutely not. Not the terrain, there's just a tree that's about 3 foot high. I don't think the scooter would fit, let alone all of me sat on it. But yeah, great scenery up here. Really well worth it. Probably worth the walk, I guess. If you were cycling around, you could leave your bikes at your bottom and just walk up here, check out the view, or just rent a scooter and ride it up. That seems to also work. I continued exploring the island, effectively going the opposite way around the island to the bicycle ride we'd done the previous day, and finding little villages and little places to explore, one of which being this concrete pier here, giving me the ability to get great views of the harbour and the fishermen on the end of the pier. Getting pushed for time, I head back to return the scooter and meet Mayumi at the hotel to gather our things and head down for lunch before taking the ferry over to Yokohama. It's worth noting that depending on the day, the port of departure and arrival for the ferries from Tokyo does differ, so you do need to be aware. Information is readily available and buses run to both ports, so it's not a problem.
Cool, so here we are, we're just about to leave Oshima. That's our ferry, just over there, maybe you can see it, it's right in the line of the sun. We're going to head to Yokohama, before Seiri. That way is where the onsen and stuff was, so you can actually just see the hot spring and the little hut just there. And if you keep going that way, it takes you to the north of the island on Sunset Road, which is a really cool place to walk, cycle or scoot. I've done all three. Just here, this is the restaurant where we just went. We got a bowl of ramen, it was delicious. Came with a snail in it, which neither of us ate because the last time I ate it, I got a bit sick. This is the town that you can see. This is the port town of Matamachi. Great name for a place because it has my name in it. And that's the ferry terminal just there. Possibly you can see the islands just in the distance over there. That's our next adventure, I guess. Let's go to Yokohama, Mayumi-chan. Didn't even touch the ocean. That's our ship. It's getting ready, so here we are. Goodbye, Izu Oshima. Thank you for your hospitality. See the volcano in the background now, which is more or less the island. A day in a car, a day on a bike, a day in a scooter, and now a few hours on a ferry. Wonderful place to come on the a short journey from Tokyo.